All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. I got a couple of different things going on today. A little bit more informal. You got my cat in the background meowing because he wants attention. And it's raining. I've got my coffee in my cute little penguin cup. I got some granola and yogurt. And today, we're going to be talking about my top 10 Game Boy Advance games. Now, I was making this list a little while ago, and I realized, even though I grew up with a Game Boy Advance and I had quite a couple of them because I ran through them, like either lost them or broke one or two, I don't know. But I've had maybe like 3 or 4 Game Boy Advance. I feel bad for my parents. They should not have bought me that many. But I realized I didn't have really many games, and a lot of these I either played like through an emulator or later on in life. And I was looking at all of the great games that are on this console, and like Game Boy Advance is a very cool machine. So I'm actually going to include, instead of an honorable mentions, I'm going to include a couple games that I would like to play in the future. So that would be my honorable mentions list. All right. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start with number 10. Okay. Perfect. So actually, in number 10, I'm going to include Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. So I'm actually a big, and you're going to see in this list, I'm a big platformer slash Metroidvania fan. I'm actually currently trying to go through all of the Castlevania games and Metroid games, but specifically Castlevania because that's one I've been doing recently. And I was actually introduced to Castlevania kind of late, and I played, I forget the name, but I think it was like Bloodstain, and then I played Symphony of the Night, and this was actually my third one, Harmony of Dissonance. It was a lot of fun. The platforming was really, really good. The bosses were a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a solid Castlevania game. Number 9 is Dragon Ball Z Boo's Fury. So this game I actually had as a kid. I played a lot as a kid. It was really, really fun. It was a beat 'em up style RPG, and where you're kind of going through Boo's arc in the Dragon Ball Z story, and you actually start at Otherworld with Goku, and you go through the whole thing. I will say, playing it a couple of times recently, it has aged a bit. Progression is not as linear as you would expect and or like it to be, and the gameplay does get a little repetitive and boring, but it's fun. I really, really like Dragon Ball Z and the Dragon Ball Z characters, and playing as them, you know, like, and leveling up. I like the designs of the chibi characters, the sprites that you play in the overworld. Yeah, overall pretty fun. Number 8 is Sonic Advance. Now, Sonic Advance, I think, is, to me, a pretty underrated game. It's a Sonic game. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I know that you get to play, I don't remember, to be honest, because I haven't played it in a while, but I know that you get to play as Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. And then I think that there was like a Child Garden 2, like, you know, ripping off of Sonic Adventure 2. But yeah, the levels are really fun. It's a classic Sonic game, and I played it a lot because, you know, when you only got a couple games, that's a pretty good one to play. All right, coffee break. All right, let's move on. Next game in the list is Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. I actually just recently replayed it on my RG35XXH. God bless that handheld, it's so much fun. It's a very easy game, I will admit, as usually most Kirby games are, but the music is really cool. Like, I think it's some of the best music on the GBA outside of the Pokemon franchise. The designs are really cool, the power-ups are really cool, the boss fights are fun as well. The level progression is really cool. The side missions are also kind of fun. And it's just an overall good time. Like, if you have, you know, spare 40 minutes, spare 30 minutes, you're hanging around and you have one of those like handheld emulator things, or if you have a Game Boy Advance itself, it's still fun to just pull it out. You're at a bus stop, or you're waiting at an appointment or whatever, just to whip it out and play a couple of levels, because it's easy and doesn't really take a lot to get in and out. The next one I have, which is number 6, is Metroid Fusion. Now, Metroid Fusion is a really, really fun platformer, and to be honest, I have it up there as one of my favorite Metroid games. I think it's also very interesting where they went with the story, and I think it was cool to like that it kind of distinguished itself like a little bit beyond, and they were able to build on it too with Metroid Dread. Yeah, it's really fun. It does get challenging, as really any other Metroid game is, but it's never too overwhelming, and I don't really have any complaints about it. It's in my top 10 for a reason. It's a very solid game. All right, now we're in the top 5. So for number 5, I was debating whether or not to include some more of these, but number 5 is going to be Super Mario Advance 4, which is Super Mario Bros. 3, and then the Mario Bros. Pack-In. They ported a lot of SNES games onto the Game Boy Advance, and actually that was my introduction to a lot of those SNES games. I had played them, in passing, either like at a cousin's house or something, but I had never really, like played through Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World or Yoshi's Island or really any of the Mario games. I never played through until I got it on my Game Boy Advance. And this was my favorite out of all of them. Super Mario World is definitely a close second, but I always found myself replaying this a lot as a kid, Super Mario Bros. 3. The updated graphics look really good. The music, the updated music sounds even better on the Advance, because Super Mario Bros. 3 was originally on the NES. And I've beaten it a couple times. It's one of my favorite Super Marios. Super Mario World is definitely still the best, 2D Mario platformer. I'm playing through Wonder right now, so that might take the cake, because I'm enjoying that a lot right now. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. 3 was really, really fun. My introduction really to 2D Mario. So, all right, we'll go to number 4. So number 4 is going to be Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. Legend of Zelda Minish Cap is a great Zelda game. I played it, I think, around the same time as Phantom Hourglass came out, and I bought Phantom Hourglass and Minish Cap around the same time. And back then, I had the DS Lite that can play GBA and Zelda and DS games. And I did not like Phantom Hourglass as much as a kid, but I loved Minish Cap, and I actually found myself playing it way more, and I beat it when I was a kid with that copy that I had. It's also a very different story. The designs and the sprites were really nice and lively, very colorful game. Yeah, it's just a very solid Zelda game. So for number 3, I'm picking Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Now, Pokemon, to me, the Game Boy Advance was a Pokemon machine. That's my fondest memories come from playing Fire Red and Leaf Green with my cousins. I had Fire Red, my cousin Sass had Leaf Green. We would trade them, so that we can like play through both versions. I have a lot of fond memories with going through Kanto. The sprites look incredible. I mean, that game looks really, really good. I really, really like the game. It was obviously my first playthrough in Pokemon, and it was my first Pokemon game that I personally owned. My brother had Gold and Silver on his Game Boy, and I think he had Pokemon Blue on his Game Boy as well. But I never really played them. I was too young. But by the time that this had come out, I was a little older. My grandparents actually bought it for me for Christmas one time. And yeah, I would never let it go. It was in my pocket all the time. It was such a fun game. The Sebi Islands are really, really fun. Playing through this game really means a lot. I might rank all of these Pokemon games, and this might be in my top 5 for sure. All right, let's move on. Okay, so my second favorite game is Metroid Zero Mission. So Metroid Zero Mission was a lot of fun for me. Obviously, it's a remake of the original Metroid. I played it a lot as a kid, but it was a little bit too hard for me when I was younger. I know that I never fully beat it. I think I got to a certain point, I would just get frustrated, restart the game, do it up to a certain point, restart the game. About 2 years ago, I fully beat it, and I had a blast doing it. I played it again. I don't think I have it beat, but I'm pretty close on my RG35XXH. And again, it's, I can replay this game a bunch of times. It's challenging, it's very fun. The platforming is really fun. The boss fights are incredible. Just an overall iconic and very fun game. Before I get into my number one, I'm going to talk about all the games that I feel like I personally missed on the Game Boy Advance. So I am not a big, and I'll say this right off the bat, as you can probably tell from my GameCube list and now my list here, is I am not a big fan of like traditional RPGs or turn-based RPGs that isn't Pokemon. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why I can't immerse myself in it. I just have a hard time liking it. But this system was a JRPG machine. And to be honest, I'm looking at some of these games that came out from it, and I'm wondering, I'm like, maybe I should give it a chance. The first one that everybody talks about is Golden Sun, right? That's the Game Boy Advance RPG that everybody plays, specifically Lost Age. So I'm probably going to play both of the Golden Sun games. I want to try Advance Wars, but I might wait to get a version for my Switch emulator and see how that goes. I do want to play some of the Fire Emblem games, especially the one with Roy, because I think Roy looks pretty cool. I need to finish all of the Castlevania games, like Aria of Sorrow. I'm trying to see what else. I think there's like 3 Castlevania games in the Game Boy Advance library. Circle of the Moon, yeah. And then I do want to play Ninja 5-0, good platformer. I haven't played any of the sports games, so like Mario Tennis Power Tour and the Mario Golf Advance I want to really try out. The F-Zero game that they have also is one that I really want to try out. And then all of the Mega Man Zero games look really, really fun. I'm a big platformer guy, as what I said earlier, so I think that would be really, really cool. And there have been some games that I haven't included. Oh, and Mother 3. Yeah, I gotta try Mother 3. That's the one game that I've gotta try. There are other games that I have tried, I just never liked, but I might go back into, which is like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. There is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I owned the Rescue Team. I played it for a little bit, and I think it's a pretty game, and a lot of people say that it's really, really, really good. I don't remember. I stopped playing when I was 10, and I remember not having a fun time. But it's Pokemon, and I'm sure it'll be fun. So yeah, that's it for the games that I would like to try list. Now for my number one, if it wasn't obvious by the way that I explained Fire Red and Leaf Green, my number one is Pokemon Emerald. Now my favorite Pokemon series or generation is Gen 3. I love the Hoenn region. I love May, and I forget the boy's name, which, whatever. But I love their designs. I love the Pokemon's designs. I love the starters, except for Trico. But I love the starter. I really, really love Mudkip and Torchic and their evolutions. Actually, you know what? Let me show you something. Let's see if I've got this. I got my starters right here. Let me see if I can hold them all up at the same time. It's kind of tricky. There we go. Yeah. I love these guys. Mudkip is currently, I kind of go between Mudkip and Torchic. I never really pick Trico because I don't like Skiptile, but he's I like his starter. I like his design. It's really cute. But Mudkip is right now my current favorite. He's also just like a really good Pokemon in general. Swampert is at least. But I like Blaziken's design, freaking giant fighter chicken. I think that's really funny. And yeah, it's going through the whole. I played this billions of times. More times than I can even count. The remakes that they made for the 3DS for Ruby and Sapphire are some of my favorite 3DS games. Yeah, it's surprising to me too. My favorite Game Boy game is a JRPG. So that's my top 10 Game Boy Advance games. If you liked the video, like, subscribe. If you have any comments about my list, if you think it's terrible, or if you think it's the best thing you've ever heard, please let me know. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks. See ya.